Tell me this. You gave your client the most amazing call, all the value in the world, expecting them to be mind blown, but they are just like, okay, this is nice, and they move on. This is exactly what we are talking about today. Welcome to this episode of your Spiritual Business Coach podcast. I am your host, Ashu. I am the coach for light leaders ready to own their fierce self expression and build audiences that trust you with their eyes closed. We do this by integrating feline energy, which helps you birth match made in heaven offers and whisker licking good marketing. Now, today I'm going to talk about something really fun, your client not having a mind blowing experience with you. I've seen this quite often, and I also got hooked to it that when you're coaching your clients and your client is like, oh my god, Ashu, this was so amazing, blown my brain up, I need some time to integrate it, this is the best coaching I've ever received, yada yada, you feel like a boost to your ego. You feel like, yes, I am creating a change in this person's life and I have done something. However, there are times where you're going to give so much value to a client and your client is not going to react this way. Your client might be like, oh yeah, great, thank you for sending this, I'm going to go through it. Or they might be like, yes, you've shared quite a bit and I feel like I've got this, I can do this now. Those are the times that you might either start questioning, like, wasn't the reaction a little mid? I wanted it to be a little more hyper, I wanted it to be more spicy. That is when I want you to know that not every client is supposed to have a mind-blowing experience with you. When you are giving someone a mind-blowing experience, what is actually happening is you're setting their nervous system on fire. Like, oh my god, I'm so lit up right now, I'm overstimulated and everything, I have so much information to process, I have so many things to do, I am so behind, you've given me so much. While it feels good to you, it's not that great of like a healthy space to begin with, because later on they crash. There is a high and then there is a crash. Sometimes you are there to ground your client and make them feel calm instead of making them feel like, oh my god, let's do it all. You're here to help the client feel, hey, this is something I could help you with. I've given you the best resources possible. I've literally changed your content piece, and I think, like, fuck, this is such a good content piece, and this is going to change your life. I've given people content ideas that have gone viral and gotten them like 1 million views and like a 1,000 views, 1,800. I don't know how to say it. 184k. 184k views, that's what I'm gonna say. So I've had those moments, but when I initially gave that idea to the person, they're not reacting the way I am reacting, because when you are in business, you have to be your biggest cheerleader most of the time. You have to be like, oh, this is the most amazing content piece that I've ever created for someone or for myself. When you're doing that, it's great, but when you expect other people to do it, that turns into external validation, and external validation is not fun, and also makes you constantly question yourself, makes you constantly think that is your value permanent or temporary. And that is where, if you feel like you gave a lot of value to a client, but the client responded in a way that did not sort of match your energy, stop making this about yourself. Stop making it about yourself that this has something to do with you, there is some problem with you. No, there's nothing wrong with you. It's just you grounding the nervous system of the client. Maybe they need time to integrate it, maybe they need time to implement it, and once they do it, they'll come back to you and they might share how they feel, and it still might not be like a very fiery response. It might be coming from a very grounded space that, yes, you've given me great value, thank you for it, instead of going to, oh my god, this is the best thing ever. Both those reactions are great, but don't start making it mean something about yourself. I literally wanted to drop this very small message that don't start making a response by your client mean something about how good you are, how valuable you are, and maybe you need to learn more. This is something I definitely want to touch on. So sometimes when I give human design readings to my clients, some of them know nothing. So when I'm telling them, they're like, oh my god, this makes so much sense, my life makes sense, every single decision I've made in my life makes sense, you've cleared out doubts that I've had from the past 15 years. That, of course, feels a boost to the ego, but Then there are clients who already know some bit of it, like human design, and when I tell them stuff, they are more in the absorbing zone, and they're not like, oh my god, this is the best thing ever. They're like, that makes sense, okay. Does that mean that is human design not a fad anymore and I need to learn something else to blow the brains of my clients? First of all, why do you want to constantly blow the brains of your clients? How about you ground them instead? How about you make them feel safe? How about you make them feel like they know what they are doing and here is how to move next, instead of that short term, short lived, high energy, like a basically giving like your client a drug that you need to stay high energy in my containers. No, it's all right, you can stay grounded as well. That's totally cool with me, till the time you're implementing and you're seeing the results and you're coming back to me in honesty that okay, this worked, this didn't work, let's tweak it. So that is what I had for you today, and I am so grateful to you for tuning in into the Spiritual Business Coach podcast and for listening to this episode. Now that you've listened to this episode, it means that you know what it is like to work with me. Lots of nuggets like this come through when you're getting coached by me. And if you felt a strong nudge that, yes, I want to work with a coach who holds this level of space for me, then drop me a message. The Instagram handle will be in the show notes. And if you're feeling a little too generous, I would love for you to drop me a review or rating on whatever platform you're listening this on. If you feel the nudge to tell me what you felt about this episode or to inquire how you want to work with me, drop a message to me on Instagram at Listening Stories Untold, and I will see you in the next episode.